and that's why they're shooting more. It's 4 for 14 points. I think if they go against the Nets to wrap up, it's just they have a lot more flexibility on the offensive end because the defense won't be as tight.
And I think, and that'll probably be a bigger problem for them going into a potential Phoenix series, for example, if they do get by Utah, right? Because the way that, like you mentioned, that Phoenix plays well. They have guys that, again, I would assume that Crowder will probably go towards Kawhi or Bridges. They probably have a harder time than what they had against the Mavericks, per se, because I don't think the Mavericks really had a lockdown defender whatsoever, really.
Finney Smith is all right.
Finney Smith is okay, but like I said, it's pretty interesting. Like I said, today's games will prove to be a lot, especially that Milwaukee game. But like I said, it's interesting basketball to watch, and it's going to be and again, both the teams that were in the finals last year got knocked out in the first round, so it's wide open once again.
I was going to mention too, because two guys that have had great playoff runs for their standards. Cam Payne, who's a Raptors cut, really turned his career around.
He was actually very good.
He's been
really
good.
Very good.
And then also Torrey Craig. Like if you last game, 17 minutes, 9 points, 8 rebounds.
I mean,
playing good defense.
Payne plays really, really fearless, which again, he was over in China for a little bit, and I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm like, how the Lakers getting beat by this dude? But he brought it, man, and I give him credit. He attacked the rim. Fearless shooting the three.
He has almost like that Westbrook.
He has a weird way where he shoots
the
throw shot. But man, he was playing with a black eye. It looked like it was. Again, credit to him, man. He you go over to China. You never know where your career is gonna go. But he got back in the NBA, and it looks like he's probably gonna get some money the way he's been playing.
He's looking like he can be a legit backup point guard. Yeah. And then Frank Kaminsky's still there. I know he didn't play last game, but he's giving them some decent minutes. And like Javon Carter, Langston Galloway, they're very deep. Cam Johnson, Saric,
I like Cam Johnson.
They have some real pieces. Phoenix. I think that, and that's like I said with the Clippers. I think they're very top heavy, and when they're top heavy guys, like you said, Paul George and Reggie Jackson, Marcus Morris.
They're not bringing it's they Luka kind of ran out of gas. There really wasn't much in that Mavericks game in the seventh one. We've been having a whole different conversation had they not escaped that situation. And to me, again, having to go through what they did, I don't know if that's going to be a hindrance or
Dallas or Clippers.
No, the Clippers, because to me, I thought that series would have been over in 6. I didn't predict that the way that it would go.
Clippers win in 6?
Yeah, I thought the Clippers were going to win in 6. I didn't think they were going to have again. I knew they had difficulties with them last year. But I was assuming that they would have evolved a little bit more as a team. I didn't really see a lot of that, and
that's the thing.
It was basically the Luka factor, and then the Mavericks didn't have a next guy that really stepped up. Hardaway did here is somewhat
pretty solid. Kristaps had gone.
Porzingis went from being a unicorn to I don't even know
needing a therapist.
Well, I think a lot of guys stated, at the end of the day, he's 7'3", but he plays like he's 6'3".
And I think that's a mental thing.
And I don't know what happens to him. I mean, with the Knicks, he at times had some really dominant games. I don't know if he likes being used. I think it's probably his last year as a Mavericks within Dallas because, again, he's already complaining. They might want to get him out of there. I think Luka definitely needs more support, and I don't think he's it.
The only guy they can trade him for that I can think of off the top of my head is Kemba Walker. 2 terrible contracts, right? It's one of those kind of things with the Chris Paul trades for John Wall, Westbrook.
I don't know if Porzingis is on a fat contract.
Oh, big time, like 35 for a few years.
Yeah, maybe. I guess.
He'd be better in Boston than he would there.
I guess Boston does lack some size, and I guess they can play him at center if he can shoot. Still, he completely trailed off. He's the guy that the Knicks fans booed during the draft. That's the guy that they thought he was gonna get.
I think the thing with Porzingis too is once he's
a piece of garbage.
But he was good for a while, right?
He was.
And then when he tore his knee,
the funny thing is, it's the one time it ever happens to the Knicks is that he's actually better as a Knick than he was beforehand. You don't see that. Well, I guess Julius Randle ended up being that way because he wasn't that great in other situations and better as a Knick, I guess. But he kind of fell off during the playoffs. But yeah, oh man, that brings back the good old draft.
Crying. Wasn't there a kid crying at the draft?
There was a kid. No, he's a piece of garbage. Porzingis. What do you pronounce this guy's name with that New York accent? It's amazing. Unforgettable draft memories. And speaking of that, the Raptors hopefully get a top end pick here.
June 22nd.
June 22nd. I'll be watching.
We'll probably have to do a live showing, and I got to have Zane on that one. Speaking of, Zane picked Denver to win that series, and I told him
I don't like his chances.
Yeah, I don't either. Just the depth. I think that Aaron Gordon is kind of exposing himself to who we thought he was, a guy that can average 12 points. right?
And I
The
guess
defense is there, but
you need their only chance is again if you got Porter Jr. going and putting up massive numbers and helping out Jokic and so forth. And good on Jokic, you know, winning the MVP. Good on them. Obviously, you see those pictures of him when he was like a fat kid with you know.
It gives everybody hope.
It gives, you know, truthfully, it does give everybody. Well, we all can't grow up to be like 7 foot something or other either, but that helps at the end of the day. But good on him. At the end of the day, it's, you know, you can't help but not cheer for the guy, considering the fact that he's not the typical NBA superstar player, right? So, but his handles are amazing. But he might end up being one of those guys like Dame Lillard, where he might have to get out of there to win something. Might be. Maybe.
Yeah, who knows?
And Dame is another guy, you know, who knows what that situation is going to lead to. I think it'll be the last year of CJ and Dame.
Even Dame, I think Dame's about 30 years old now, so maybe a few more years of prime.
I give him credit for his loyalty, but like it's just not working, man.
Here's the thing about loyalty. Same as Westbrook. When a team's going to give you a supermax, they're going to pay you $45 million a year.
Yeah.
Is that money or loyalty? Because then you ask for a trade.
So
loyalty
do
anymore,
you think that they scale it? They roll it back with the same team? I think that one.
No, but I talked about this before, and I had given Joe some shit at the beginning of the year because I had always, and I've said this on the show, so sorry for saying it for the 1,000th time. Portland was always the Raptors of the East, in the West before they got Kawhi. Good guards that didn't bring it in the playoffs. Obviously, Dame's pretty good.
Been great.
But CJ, to me, he's never even got to that DeMar status, right?
Yeah.
He's a good player, but I feel
he just
not elite.
as a second situation, and I think
Nurkic's injury history really caught up to him. He's not the same guy that he was.
And
Covington trade.
And they won some of those games with Norm as the leading scorer, and shout out to Norm. You know, unfortunately, you know, it is what it is, and hopefully Norm gets.
But when you got 3 guys starting for you that are pretty much 6'3" and under, it's going to be tough to win, right? And then you got a 40. Well,
and it's crazy.
Carmelo's what, 36.
I mean, with the games, and then Dame had some bad games after those 50-point games.
Well, you can expect that.
But you realize you got to win those games, right?
But is this not a common theme? Kawhi Leonard, Luka Doncic, Dame Lillard. Like when these guys take the team on their back and have to score 40 points a game, they're going to have some stickers because they did.
Yeah.
And the same question is asked: can they get some help? Every team needs help.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Unless you're the title, like unless you're Brooklyn or unless you're Milwaukee.
And for the most part, they have underachieving second guys that aren't bringing it to the table. You know, Paul George has been rough.
But I think it's always been
was
like
rough.
that, right? Like, I don't think that Portland really in any. Let's say even Portland beats Denver, they're probably not. They're not supposed to beat Phoenix. They're not supposed to beat the Clippers or Utah.
It would have been an entertaining series, but no. And they also did defensively.
They're the worst defensive team in basketball.
And then that's why Terry Stotts out of a job.
Yeah. All right, that'll wrap up the NBA show for today. We'll get back next week, I guess, if we can, and try and do see what happens with the Bucks series for sure, and then also Clippers Utah. So you're staying with the Clippers and the Nets. Phoenix, you had in 5. You're saying maybe?
Oh yeah. Well, I originally thought 6, but I'm gonna go with that one in 5. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little worried about that Clippers pick, but. Just because again I got to roll with Kawhi. I mean he's been a beast, and again I still obviously we owe him well with the championship. So at the end of the day I'll always root for the guy to do well, because again I think some people were like, oh, if he loses he'll come back. He's not coming. He threw down $20 million in an LA mansion. All those commercials, all the sponsorship. That's a pipe dream. Enjoy the 1 year and then call it a day, because that's not He's definitely not gonna, all those sponsors. There's no way he's going back to Toronto.
He's at home. He doesn't want to leave home.
He's not going. I think good on him. You know, he did his job, and then that's all.
He's entitled to do what he wants.
Yeah. So again, he's a great player. I'll always be a fan. So.
And then Philly, Atlanta.
Philly. I'm still taking with Philly. I'm a little concerned about that Embiid injury, but I'm taking Philly in 6 on that one.
Philly in 6. Yeah.
I'll do Philly in 6 too. I want to win with that Embiid injury though.
Because like I said, if Embiid goes down, the 76ers are up in flames for sure. If Embiid goes down, it's done. Same thing as Anthony Davis, right? When a guy that big for offense and defense, you're done. If Embiid plays, I'll take Philly in 6.
Yeah, that's a fair.
Because even the game that Atlanta won, they, like you said, they only won by 4, and it was really tight at the end of the game. They were up by like 20 at one point, I want to say.
20, almost 30 at one point. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
They really locked them down. Wrap that up. We'll talk next week, and part 2 of the show will be the Euro Cup 2020-2021.